Oh, Adrian, what is the free lunch about?
Ever since the Bush administration, actually, the Fed, under the presidential direction, began to monetize the dollar, I knew something would go wrong. Now, people have to understand what monetarizing is. The way dollars were created initially was that for every dollar issued, there was either a gold or silver coin or a bar of silver or a bar of gold in deposit at Fort Knox or in the New York Federal Reserve Bank, backing that piece of paper, which we call fiat. Fiat just means it's a piece of paper, a document. This system was supplanted when FDR repealed the convertibility of the dollar into gold. The government began issuing dollars based on borrowing. In other words, what they would do, they would issue a treasury bill or treasury note, and this treasury bill or treasury note would pay interest, was considered a very secure investment, and based on how much of this money that they sold, they would issue dollars. In March of 2012, they stopped doing this because people were no longer willing to buy the Treasury paper. In other words, the Treasury documents, the Treasury notes, the Treasury bills, the savings bonds. They said, no, these guys don't have any money. This is baloney. So the government said, oh, we'll issue money and we'll just take the money. Oh, we'll just create the money. How will we create the money? Well, we'll tell the Federal Reserve Banks, of which there are 12, to simply add money onto their credit side of their accounting procedure. Lest you think this was a small amount of money, $85 billion a month for 12 months and $55 billion per month thereafter, for a total of just over $4 trillion, not listed in the national debt. If you think about this, you realize that the federal government was, in essence, inflating the currency. In other words, if you have money in the bank, and let's say it's $100, and that is based on $100 worth of gold, then you know what it's worth. An ounce of gold has a certain value, and you can figure it out. If you issue a loan document, it's a little more difficult, but you can sort of figure out how much the dollar should be worth. If, however, you issue dollars just by issuing more paper without any backing of any sort whatsoever, it becomes inflationary, and very severely so. If you consider that the inflation rate for the last 8 years, maybe 9, has been on average almost 10% per year, which the government reports as 1.2, 1.5, 1.7%, a complete fabrication. All you have to do is ask any housewife how much her groceries have gone up to realize that inflation is a very big factor. There is no free lunch. There is no possibility of issuing money without backing. If you do that, the value of the currency goes down. As the value of the currency goes down, people hesitate or stop using that currency. This is what's going to happen internationally in the coming 4 years, two maybe even 1 year, in that as the value of the dollar falls, the world reserve currency, which is now the dollar, will change to something else. That is what's coming shortly.